All right, in today's episode, we are covering AI native networks, sixth generation cellular technology. Are you
All
ready?
right.
We're just going to
I
jump
am
right in.
ready. Jumping in 6G, baby.
All right, we're familiar with 5G. That's what we currently had.
Hmm.
People were saying the end of the world was going to come when 5 came. So, let's see what's going
About 5G, the revolutionary technology transforming everything from our internet speeds to how we connect devices. But what's next? Introducing 6G, the sixth generation of wireless technology. While 5G is still being rolled out around the world, researchers are already hard at work developing 6G, promising us faster speeds, smarter networks, and a more connected future. So, what exactly is 6G, and how does it differ from 5G? Let's dive in. To understand 6G, we first need to recap what 5G brought to the table. 5G promised ultra-fast speeds, ultra-low latency, and the ability to connect millions of devices at once. It enabled technologies like smart cities, autonomous vehicles, and the Internet of Things. But as powerful as 5G is, it still has its limits. Enter 6G, which aims to go beyond just faster internet. It's not just an upgrade, it's a full transformation of our connectivity landscape. Let's start with the numbers. 5G networks offer speeds up to 10 gigabits, but 6G is expected to exceed that by 100 times, reaching speeds up to 1 terabit per second. This means downloading a
All right, that's okay. So that's 1 terabit a second. I have a terabyte. I
Wow.
don't know what a terabit is. Do you know what terabit
Oh
is?
yeah. I do. I know it's well. Let me put it this way. It's different from a byte. That's unfortunately all I know. But it's like up speed, down speed. Kind of
Yeah.
like how many cars you can fit on a highway. Is it a 4-lane highway, a 6-lane highway, an 8-lane highway? That's
Mm,
how I think of it.
okay.
Yeah.
Capacity.
But that's all I really have. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
full-length
Okay.
4K movie in just seconds, or even enabling real
So there you go. That's kind of what I'm thinking right
Mhm.
now. Because um,
Yeah.
I just say now I know a little bit about how we store data, right? So there used to be
Hmm.
kilobytes, megabytes, gigabytes, terabytes, and then there's like teraflop, and then there's metrics for size, right? So
Yeah.
I'm always pretty aware of what the current aspect ratio of televisions is that we're using. Like we're now in 4K, but they could easily roll out technology that's 16 and 18, and then change the technology, right? So I think
Yeah.
a lot of what 6G is going to do is there's all this, you keep hearing about the AI race against like China, but we really don't know what China
Right.
is. And China's already on the moon, and we're going back to the moon, I think, next week or 2 weeks from now. I think that I think Disclosure Day could be close with the new technologies that will bring together satellites, like, all the new satellites they have above the earth. There's thousands of them more. Anyway, what do you think? You have anything to add?
It's not much other than when you think about a terabit per second or how many, they think 1 terabit per second upload download speeds. That is fast by
Yeah,
today's standards. So
sure.
like that's gonna be very cool. Of course, once that happens, it might not feel faster for long because our files are gonna get that much better. So naturally, it's gonna seem like today, but it's gonna be better quality.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah,
Yeah, in a
that's
way.
well put, right? Because then it's like that constant game of
Yeah,
resolution that you have to,
yeah.
you're like, well, this picture's this big now, but the file sizes are this big. So it as a state of the art, it grows, but it's still like sequentially keeps that same sort of mass, I guess you could say, right?
That's right, that's right,
Kilobytes, a
yeah.
megabyte, the 30 megabyte memory card, and now it's
Remember them when,
yes.
like, 100 megabytes was, like, amazing? It
I,
was huge.
I just had a USB that I do a lot of stuff on. I have a lot of goodies stored on here with 60
Yeah,
gigabytes.
yeah.
It just literally
Okay.
stopped working. Like
Oh, there you
it
go,
doesn't work.
it actually crashed. Yeah,
And I'm
yeah.
smart enough
It
to
it
keep
actually
most of
happened.
it backed up. But if I got into this, I'd be
That's
like,
good.
oh, wow, that's where most of those files I'm looking for, like the convenient ones where it's the shortcut to the shortcuts or whatever. Anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, just stop working.
Oh, yeah, that's the unfortunate nature of those, solid state or, flash drives. They
Yeah.
just they go without warning.
Yep.
Like, hard disk drives, you could kinda hear the thing making a sound of a Yeti, and it would just suddenly die
Yeah.
after. Um, Unfortunately, flash drives, gone with almost no warning.
This
Yeah,
data could
that's
be retrieved. I mean, it's not broken. It's just I don't
mhm,
have
mhm.
the method to retrieve it.
Right,
Well,
right.
let's get back in.
4K movie in
6G.
just seconds, or even enabling real-time
There we
8K
go.
streaming with zero lag. Now let's talk
Yes.
about latency. Latency is the delay before
Let's.
data begins to transfer after an action. 5G reduced this to about 1 millisecond, but 6G is set to achieve sub-millisecond latency, basically instantaneous data transfer.
Yeah.
This kind of
That's gonna be
response
cool.
time could make technologies like augmented reality, virtual reality, and remote surgeries almost seamless.
It's like the stuff we've seen in movies and stuff like that, but they're always like, well, why isn't
Yeah.
there more of that? And it makes a lot more sense
Right.
that the operating system that those technologies don't have the ability to be as great as they could be, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's true. We're getting there though, which
Yeah.
is really kind of
Yeah,
cool.
virtual reality's been around for 40 years now, right? Like talking about it. It's just
I think so. Yeah, they've been
yeah.
talking about that for a long time. Yeah.
Yeah.
As if they're happening in
I
real.
think the holodeck on Star Trek is pretty much like the where they're going, right? It seems
Oh,
like
that's going to be the ultimate. Yes. Yes. Exactly.
some of my
Yeah, I
favorite
look forward to that day.
episodes always dealt with the holodeck. It's like it was like my favorite
Yeah, me
thing on
too.
there. I loved it.
Me too, man. Yes.
So, how does 6G work? The core technologies that make 6G possible are completely new. First, 6G is expected to use terahertz waves. These are much higher frequencies than 5G's millimeter waves. Terahertz waves will allow for incredibly high data rates, but they don't travel as far and are more easily
That's
blocked.
the issue.
This
Yeah.
means 6G will need more dense infrastructure, like small cell networks, to make up for the shorter range. 6G will also heavily rely on artificial intelligence for network management. AI will monitor traffic, anticipate demand, and dynamically allocate resources to prevent overload. This makes the network smarter and more efficient, adapting instantly to changing conditions. The technology has the potential to unlock new industries, such as fully autonomous factories and personalized healthcare, and make existing ones more efficient and effective. So, when can we expect to see 6G? Experts estimate that we won't see commercial 6G networks until around 2030.
All right, 2030. So I gotta get
Oh,
okay.
wow.
So
Okay.
that's like the nice kind of like sweet video about G6. I want you
Right.
to see. I got this video, and it's from not the American perspective. It's from other countries, and this
Okay.
is kind of what really is kind of going on here.
Okay, cool. This will be fun. Yeah. Okay, who's leading? Interesting.
We've come a long way in the digital age. Just a decade ago, buffering videos tested our patience. Today, we stream in 4K. We make instant video
She's right.
calls and control smart homes with a tap. So, what is next? 6G, a technology that won't just connect us faster, but in ways we've never imagined. Holographic conversations, real time AI assistants, and an internet more powerful than ever. It will all be just a tap away.
All right, let's get into it. So she's going to get more into the political and economical kind of like it does make sense that whoever gets this technology first and optimizes it does become a superior country for it and can
Yeah.
control and dictate a lot of different things or just shut down whole other networks. So it's funny, like the internet is like Skynet in Terminator. They've been talking about this for as
Mhm.
long as I've been watching movies, and it seems like for some weird reason, the human race just has to keep going towards it. You know?
Yeah, it's like it's true. So we can't help but try to advance ourselves. And like any advancement or new technology, there are lots of upsides. But as we are all aware, there's like a mirror. There's also downsides. And so it's like which
I mean,
it's like that Native American proverb: which wolf do you feed?
it's like
More,
it's also
the good
like
one or the bad
Pandora's
one?
box, the internet, because it
Oh
does
yeah,
these great
yeah.
things, but it also really has completely changed the way humanity operates. And this
Yeah,
is just
very
like
true.
a massive update to what that means.
Imagine a world where you could talk to your best friend as a hologram. Cars could drive themselves perfectly,
Be wild.
and
Yeah,
doctors could
that's kind of what I'm talking about. It's like the Jetsons,
Yeah.
right? It's like the stuff we've been hearing. Like, why aren't there flying cars? Because the cars have
Yeah.
to be automated and controlled by a system. Because if it was people, they
Yeah.
crash into buildings all the time.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah,
perform
I laugh, but
surgeries
you're
via
absolutely right.
robots.
Yeah.
Sounds like a sci-fi movie, right? Well, that's what
Not anymore.
6G promises to bring to life. If 5G was like upgrading from a bicycle to a sports car, then 6G is like getting a spaceship. It will be faster, it will be smarter, and it will connect us in ways that are unimaginable right now. So, what exactly is 6G? It stands for sixth generation wireless technology. Think of your internet as a highway. Right now, with 5G, we have wide, fast roads where many cars can travel quickly, but there's still some traffic sometimes. And not everything moves perfectly. 6G will be like building bigger highways, that too in the sky. Cars will fly and never get stuck.
Sweet.
6G uses super high frequency signals called terahertz waves. They can send data incredibly fast, up to 1
I think definitely there's going to be like an automated taxi service in large cities that can get you from
Yeah.
like one side to another. And like it'll
Yeah.
just become like a shuttle or something, right? How cool would that be if you can go from like Manhattan to like Boston
Oh, it'd be like the dream.
and you would
Finally,
just
at
fly,
last, right?
you would just fly
Yeah.
above it. You wouldn't have to go through all that
Fly right
horrible
above it.
congestion and all that. You could just do like, it would take whatever it takes, 45 minutes. I don't know
Yeah.
how long it would take. But like I could see that being a real thing,
Yeah.
an
Yeah.
air service,
That's so exciting to me too. There's like among the upsides, right? That's so exciting to be able to go from one city in New York to LA,
Yeah.
let's say, or back
Not
in
even
a
like
heartbeat.
imagine if
It'd just be incredible.
they build it up to where you could do just the Northeast alone, right? You can go from Boston to New York, Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, like all of that would be one, you know what I mean? Like that could be
Yeah.
a service. And then it could go to New England, Buffalo, and then you could do Canada. That would be right there as well, Like what if you
Yeah.
do like Boston to like Niagara Falls and like an air kind of service? Probably wouldn't take too long.
It would be so nice because you could just go. Like you could almost do a day trip to Niagara Falls from
Yeah.
Philadelphia, let's say. So it's
Sure.
really nice. It's like,
Yeah.
all right, I need to get away. Let me stop over for a night.
I
Instead of I gotta plan 4 days for Niagara Falls by
I
car.
really
right?
believe
Like,
with this type of
at
technology
least.
that will be a reality. That will be
Yeah.
a reality for a city going forward 50, 75 years from now. 100 for
It's
sure.
exciting.
If nothing
It's really
happens.
terabit per second.
Right.
That is 1,000 times faster than 5G. It's so fast that you could download an entire movie in just 1 second.
That's pretty good. We're so used to the way it
That-
is now. I can
Yeah.
tell that's going to get better because when I download a game and it's like 80 gigs and it takes like 8 hours, I'm like, that's going to definitely get faster.
Real quick, I remember downloading like say a 20 gigabyte movie, right? Really good resolution for the day, right?
Yeah.
Like a 20 gigabyte like anime over a 56K dial-up modem.
I remember
You
that.
can imagine.
You're
It was-
probably-
yeah. I'm dating myself. You probably remember that too, right?
Are you talking
Yeah.
about LimeWire?
Rough.
You're probably talking about.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
like one of those. Yeah. I was using a different service, but basically, yeah, like
Napster?
LimeWire, one of those.
Napster
I
was
was
the other
actually
one.
using the internet relay chat
Ah.
back in the day. So
You were-
if
you
anyone
were
recognizes Comrade X, actually, that was my name way back.
I
when
like
used
how
that
you know
well.
about something I don't know anything about, which is how
Yeah.
good and nerdy of you to know. Because it's probably pretty
Oh,
good,
yes,
whatever
yes,
that
very
was.
much so. Yeah,
Yeah, that sounds like
I was really into it back in the day.
more
yeah. But I
legit
also
one.
did use. I used LimeWire, Kazaa.
Oh yeah,
that's what it's called.
Kazaa. Damn, I haven't talked
And,
about Kazaa in a long time.
I do remember Napster for MP3s. That was cool.
It'd be
for
funny when
what
you
it
would
was.
download something from one of those. I don't know about the one you said, but it would be labeled one thing and it would be something completely different.
Oh,
video.
I do. I remember that. Yeah, and I used to get mad. I'd be like, man, whoever's like sharing his files or whatever, he
Yeah.
didn't label them right.
Or it would be like
Oh.
Spider-Man, a Spider-Man movie that was so not a Spider-Man movie.
yeah.
Most
I
importantly,
remember that.
6G will connect everything, not just phones and computers, but also
boy.
homes, cars, factories, and even entire cities.
Yeah.
Maybe that.
So, who is leading the race? China has the lead right now. In March this year, Beijing released its national development goals, cultivating the
China. I just say a little something about China. In America, it's always like us versus them. I actually really, really love their history, and I'm so impressed at how old of a nation, a country they are. They're extremely old. I think they're the oldest in history. I don't know who's older. They're up there. I think they're like 4,000 years or something. China's very old. It's been through different territories and it's been through a lot of different things, but America's only 250 years old. That's a lot
Yeah,
less.
right. China is it's fascinating. Like you said, it's incredibly old. It's an ancient civilization. It's taken many forms. I mean, the state we know today, the People's Republic, is just the latest in
Yeah, of
almost
thousands.
countless.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it's
countless.
just an amazing, a highly literate culture, complex writing system. I mean, I
Yeah.
probably don't need to tell you, if
Yep,
you can
yep.
read Chinese. Yeah,
Yeah, but
it
then
is
you got
fascinating.
you get Mandarin, you have then there's all the different
Different
other
languages.
forms
Yeah,
of their dialects
that's
are
right.
probably in the thousands,
Hmm.
I would say. But
Hmm.
I actually am very impressed by China, and I think it's really incredible that there's a country or like a group of people. It's hard to quantify it because it's so old. It's been so many things, but they're still
Yeah,
here.
they're
Like
still
they're
here.
still
Yeah,
here.
after thousands of years, they're still
Thousands
here.
of years,
Yeah.
and it's weird that they're also like on the moon now, and like it's kind of cool that a really old civilization still hangs in there and stays like at the top of the chain, right? Weird.
Yeah, and they're certainly driven, especially now. I mean, for whichever, they're just. I'll just say they're very driven right now
Mm.
to keep to maintain their position or to better it in the world. So it's hence, I guess, this newscast is going to talk about their lead in 6G,
Sure, sure. Yeah, and I
supposed
think they're
lead in
gonna
6G.
they
Yeah,
talk about the deals that are going on because I hear them a lot about the
yeah.
American deals, but the deals that go from like
Hmm.
India to China to Russia, they're all neighbors. They got to work with each other.
6G industry is one of
Yeah,
them.
yeah, oh yeah,
It's conducted successful satellite to ground laser communication tests that achieved data transmission rates of 100 gigabits per second. It has set technological
nice.
standards for 6G. Major companies like Huawei and ZTE are also heavily
Yeah.
involved. The government has also established a national working group focused on 6G. It provides funding for such ventures. So China clearly has the head start. But the West is moving slower than usual.
Hmm.
The US is pursuing initiatives like the Next G Alliance. It aims to secure a prominent position in 6G development.
Hmm.
Interesting.
Europe anticipates that standardization work for 6G will begin around this year. Companies like Qualcomm, Nokia, and AT&T are involved in research. But most experts believe
What she's speaking of is what you're seeing right there is a big part of like stock markets, economies, trillions of dollars. That like that
Yeah.
those all that stuff where those unions and whatever they're starting, that's just like powerful people uniting and like basically putting a flag in the ground and being like, it's insane, really, what that is.
It really is something, all the research and development, the money, the time, the energy,
Mm.
the engineering that goes into these
The
networks. I
security, the
mean, the
R&D,
security. Yeah.
the getting the brightest minds and look, what are you shooting for? I don't like how much like 100 years from now when it's like 10G. So say you got the cars online, you got everything online,
Right.
you got everything going on. Like all of a sudden you understand consciousness really well. Like there's all these things you've broken
Yeah.
through. It's kind of like that ebb and flow of a civilization. Like what's the top of where does it go? When do you get
It's
satisfied?
interesting
When are the
because
humans satisfied? You know?
it goes back to that noble truth, that there's a strain in existence of dissatisfaction. So perhaps never. It's like we get there and then we're like, "Man, maybe we can do a little more.
Mm.
Maybe there's something better." So the heights of well-being, on a positive note, we could go as high as, almost infinity as far as we know. We just don't
So
know how far. As far
become
as misery,
like the
theoretically,
gods,
yeah, could go up
become the
infinity.
universe, become like, it's I don't know. I
It
just am
really is
stunned by
something.
it because there's like it's
Yeah.
like you say when you look at the abyss and then it looks back at you.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
how I feel when I try to think about where it goes.
Oh yeah, I know, right? It
Yeah.
it really is something. And what's funny is I think like 100 years from now, they'll look back at us the way we look at perhaps, when there was no internet or no electricity.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, how did they that's amazing they lived like that.
Exactly. And you kind of
That's
like
yeah.
that's where I come
Look at
to.
our 5G.
That's where I eventually come to
Hmm.
because
Yeah.
a lot of people thought the world was flat.
Mhm.
But that was before people had more knowledge. They were much more intelligent thousands of years prior. It seemed that we got dumber, and then we're now building back to some of the intelligence that we may have had before. It's what it seems like. you know? And I don't know. I like to think about it, but there's times I have to just not, which is most
Yeah,
often.
exactly. Yeah, you just kind of. There are times too, believe it or not. Yeah, I too. I think about these things and I get very philosophical. But there are other times I just, I'm just gonna go along for the ride
But
and
like,
enjoy the
say me and you,
downloading a movie in a second.
say we got a job at this American company that they just created. I couldn't imagine going into work every day and you're just like, oh, right,
Yeah.
flying machines, bringing the cars online. It just seems so like,
Yes.
Position in 6G development.
and then you have a board meeting. They're like, the Chinese have just released this symbiotic brainstem technology, and you're like,
Oh, I know, right?
get a man
like,
on it. It's like kind of
get somebody on it.
like the Manhattan Project, kind of, right? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
you know?
Hey, Elon, step on that Neuralink thing.
Oh,
The
yeah.
Chinese are marching in. Like it's like
That's what they want you to believe, that the Chinese people are coming, right?
Europe anticipates
yeah, right.
And then the Japanese will have like mech suits and like that's where eventually
Actually, that's what's gonna. Yeah, we can wait for the mechas and
the
stuff to
mech
start
suit.
flying around, right? That's gonna be
Yeah,
awesome.
that would
Or
most
not.
likely be
Yeah.
what would happen eventually is the mech suit.
Yeah.
that
It look like
standardization work
Gundam.
for 6G will begin around this year. Companies like aims to make the country a key player in this new technology. Here are 3 things India is already doing. 1. Investing in research. Universities and tech companies are working together to develop 6G solutions. 2. Partnering with other countries. India has teamed up with Japan and Finland. This is to share knowledge.
I love how Finland got in there. India, Japan, and Finland.
Yeah, it's an interesting combination.
Yeah.
In fact,
What a
the
good
internet
one.
relay chat I mentioned earlier originated in Finland. Interesting enough. It's basically a chat protocol, and it was used. You could just use it to chat. You get world news at the time. You get information from around the world. It was also used for nefarious purposes, as some of these technologies are.
They always
But
are,
yeah,
yeah.
Finland of all places.
Well,
right?
I
Home of
just think
Nokia.
so. I think of it as I'm a German person. I am German, and I know kind of how the German mind works, and I know how the European mind works. The white European, and when Finland comes around, I can only imagine them walking in the boardroom like 10 hard Finnish scientists. They're probably the most stoic, most like
Right. Yeah.
brutally honest people. Like,
Very stoic, straight people. Like
inferior, we have to and then the guy from India probably just gets in it. That's a good combo. Japan, Finland, and India. Because
Yeah,
India's
I
probably
agree.
doing the bulwark, I'm thinking, and China probably does too. But I
Yeah.
feel like Finland's the one that's got a lot of opinions. And
Yeah, right.
I think.
And these are like all like relatively, big players in their respective regions too.
Yeah, yeah.
India being major in technology, Finland, Japan, of course.
Yep.
It's that's a good. You're right. That's a good
Just
combo.
seeing Japanese people and people from Finland like working together and thinking together.
know, right?
That is
Oh, man.
that's a heck
Yeah.
of a combo, man. I
Good
say that
stuff.
because they stay on task. They don't get defeated by a lot of things like we do in America. They don't get as distracted as us. They kind of really keep their
Yeah,
eye on the
yeah.
ball, and their
We do
innovation
tend to get distracted.
is exponential. As America's is more like hidden in like Silicon Valley. It's not like, I don't know, like Finland as a whole has a vibe and a pulse to it that is a very high one, I think. And so does Norway. A lot of
Yeah,
them places
yeah.
do.
It's cool.
Then they'll be like, the Germans have joined as well.
Oh yeah, now you're gonna get that top quality. I mean, the way I imagine the German engineering and manufacturing and just
With
that
Finland.
that solid, it's just gonna work.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. That's gonna be cool.
I have to look if Finland makes cars. I'm sure they do. They're probably pretty awesome.
And
I-
build
I think
6G
they do. I'm not
together.
sure,
Yeah, they probably do.
Third,
Yeah.
encouraging Indian companies. Reliance Jio and Bharti Airtel are getting ready to take part in the global 6G race. So, what does the road ahead look like? If all goes well, 6G will officially launch by 2030.
Yeah.
But
heard
here's
that.
the big question.
Yes.
How will it change your life? Will 6G create a future where we're more connected than ever? Or will it bring new challenges we haven't even imagined yet? One thing's for sure, the 6G race has begun. And the winner won't just shape technology, they'll shape the future of the world.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then 7G will come.
That's right. There'll be a
I
7G and, as you mentioned earlier, a 10G at some point.
I
Yeah.
remember when 5G was rolled out probably like 5 years ago, and there's like
Yeah.
some wackos out there that, once like you tell crazy people like on the street or something, then
Oh, yeah.
they hear like the conspiracy theories. They'll go
I
around all
remember
day
those.
and on the street like it's the 5G, it's in
Yeah.
there.
It's the 5G that's infecting you. It's not an actual
Yeah,
virus. It's
like
not bacteria. It's 5G waves that are coming at you. And I'm
yeah.
like, nah, it's more likely a
And then they'll be
virus.
like, it's the Epstein files, and part of me is like, maybe it is. I don't know. Is he a
That's
prophet?
5G's fault too.
Is he a
No, no,
prophet?
I'm just kidding. Obviously, that's yeah.
But
Oh man.
yeah, just to kind of summarize on that. Uh, so I have a couple notes here. I'll just keep it quick.
Sure.
So the one thing that they notice biblically, right, would be that this is some sort of intelligence that is created that is not human, right? It has no biological parent, right? So a lot of people believe that this AI and all this technology is giving knowledge, kind of like the apple that is Adam and Eve, right? That was knowledge, and
Oh, right. From
humanity was
yeah.
punished for it. And I think one of the big things it can do is recreate the Tower of Babel, which could be the people who built the Tower of Babel. They built it so high it reached to the heavens. And they were able to do this because they all understood each other. There was only one language, right? So it kept getting
Oh,
bigger.
right.
The innovation kept
Yeah.
growing. They were in unison because they were not fractured by being different. At least verbally, they all understood each other. And I think that the better the technology, the more the language barrier breaks. Even all the dialects, like there could be a way that we all can work together, and we can be understood by each other as
Yeah.
we're innovating. And then the last time that happened in the Bible was it got destroyed because it was too big. They made it too far. Like Icarus,
Yeah.
the wings were
Yeah.
burned
Oh,
by the
yeah. He
sun.
flew too close to the sun, right?
Yep.
A lot of these stories too, they do have that kind of lesson. Like, yes, you can advance and you can grow and you can get big and you can, but when you quote "fly too close to the sun," just know that I think they're reminding us, don't get too big for your britches, as they say in the States. They remind us not to get too egotistical or arrogant about it, and to know that with every advancement, there's potential downsides too, and we should be aware of them. And that's the Tower of Babel, and now all of a sudden no one can understand one another. Or Icarus, he flew too close to the sun and he fell into the sea, that kind of thing, even though he's warned.
Yeah.
uh, it's a great, they're fun. They're fun stories, and I think it's going to be interesting the next 4 years. It's within 4 years we're going to see 6G, or 3.5 years right now, if all works out.
So let me ask you
I'm
a
pretty
question.
excited. Yeah.
Okay, you know how we are as humanity now. We have different
Mhm.
countries. They have different religions. They have different
Yeah.
democracy and communism. All that stuff's here, right? Will humans still be here in control in 500 years?
Oh,
Will we still be building cities? Like, will we still be a thing?
I certainly hope so. I really do. And I think we will, unless we do something absolutely stupid.
Yeah.
I'd like to think we will. I mean, that's the optimist in me,
Yeah.
I suppose. We certainly could cause some trouble
Yeah.
and ruin it.
Which we do
We
every
could-
day, all day, constantly.
Yeah.
Happens every day.
Like any uptrend, it won't be in a straight line. I think we're going to have a lot of fumbles. But I would personally, I think it would be very cool to see a future similar to the one like in the Star Trek the Federation of Planets in Star
You
Trek.
get off the planet, and then there's more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's more out there, and we are like almost intergalactic, and we're international relations now become interstellar relations. Different what we think of as alien
What?
species.
Okay.
and peoples.
One last
Yeah.
one for you. What
Mhm.
do you think is peace on Earth? What is peace on Earth?
Yeah, that's really good. I would say peace on Earth is everyone, every conscious creature really on the planet has
Mhm.
reached the pinnacle of well-being, perhaps beyond what we can understand today. So I think that would be kind of a measure of peace on Earth. So it's a pretty high standard, but I think it can be done, or at the very least, we should aim for that. I think it's worth aiming for.
So my
So,
follow-up question, as we, the humans, are having peace on Earth, are we still devouring the flesh of the animals that we need for sustenance? is their pain and their suffering nowhere near, peace? Will humanity find peace as
Yeah.
it's has fish farms and cows and all this other stuff, as as the animals are killing each other, which they naturally do because they need to survive, because they need to eat and sleep?
Right.
How
That's a good
does
point.
humanity attain a higher level? It has to have its foot on the neck of something else. It seems like that's the
Yeah.
case.
Since we're animals too, I guess it's part of the what we think of as a natural order, but we also have the ability to think, reason, we're self-aware. Maybe my hope, perhaps, um, we could figure out a way to maybe replicate
That-
the food
yeah.
in such a way, like on Star Trek, for
Yeah,
example,
exactly.
where we won't have to kill an animal you won't have to kill cows or have them living in misery to get steak.
Yeah.
We can replicate steak, and the cows and the rest of the animals can live the lives they live as nature does while we live our lives, and somehow figure out a way to maybe we'll get a better understanding of how everything interconnects on Earth.
Wow.
But I think you're right to get there. Yeah, because if we include the animals and everything that's conscious, let's say, if we're really optimistic,
Yeah.
we should consider their relative well-being as well. To the extent we can.
Does that piece
grasp
on
it.
Earth look like to you like a woman laying on a lion, and then like someone petting a dolphin? Like what worldview was built for you that create? Like, I have a vision in my mind when I think of world peace, but now that I have expanded my view, I understand, as you can see, I put the animals in there, and then coral reefs.
Yeah, exactly.
All this
Yeah.
other stuff that we're messing with.
Mhm.
I don't know, man. I just think we're gonna be savage. I think that for something to
We can be
happen,
savage. Yeah. Hmm.
something to happen, it seems to me like it would go more towards the consciousness, like the out of body soul or something like that. There must be play that goes on outside of the physical world, because I think this physical world, this earth, is inherently violent. And it
Right.
is. It is. I went
Right.
outside for a little bit and it was hot. You get hot quick. You get thirsty fast. You get hungry quick. And 6G is nice and all, but it has to be maintained. And who are the custodians that can keep that information working? Because I don't know how to keep a satellite in the sky, and I'm sure many
That's a
other
very good
people
point.
don't. It's like probably
Myself
like
included,
under
right?
1% know how to maintain that. And somebody
right.
seems to be doing a really good job at an elite level across this whole entire world, just the way it works, you know?
Yeah.
It really is
Yeah.
like you and I go about our business, but there's all this going on around us, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. Just the very fact we're talking as we are over a computer network, and this is going to end up, being seen, I hope, by lots and lots of people.
But
Maybe with 6G, people will download this. We shouldn't take this for granted. There was a time when this was unthinkable. Like walking to the next town over to talk to you would be like, days long journey. Now I can do it on my computer. So yeah,
True.
and who knows in the future?
And then
who knows
this
what we'll be able to
gets uploaded to
Where we'll
the
go.
YouTube servers. And
Yeah.
who eventually has the YouTube servers? Who owns them? Probably in like 40 years, there'll be some new company that will buy all of their data. And then they'll have like
Oh yeah.
a
Yeah.
massive amount of the world, a slice of the world, of the people, of each individual person, posting pictures of them eating cake and going on a trip. They're dead. They're all dead.
Yeah.
These are millions of people who are dead, who now have
Yeah.
some sort
They're
of
still
video
out there somehow.
existing on a that can be watched. You know?
Yeah, it's wild, and like it's bring that up. It's true. In 1985, a company like Alphabet or Google, nowhere near, not even in anyone's mindset, not considered, just not even an idea. And it wasn't until the early 1990s, the two guys at Stanford University thought, hey, let's make a search engine better than the rest, right? And now we have Google and YouTube and all the Google bought YouTube. So
Yeah.
the other guy came. But yeah, it's just amazing. Like we can watch videos with 8K movies being able to be downloaded in a second. I mean, you can just imagine the kind of content's going to be out there
Well, I think the big it's going to
4
be.
years and beyond. Yeah.
I think movies are going to become heavily AI generated, especially when stuff falls out of
Oh yeah.
what's it called, copyright. So like somebody very soon could take Popeye. Well, they can kind of now and make a whole AI movie out of him and make a story, and they
You're
can
right.
monetize it.
You're right.
So like,
You're
I
right,
think
yeah.
even with actors, they'll eventually just start doing it to them. They'll take like Elvis Presley and put him in a movie with Bruce Lee, and they'll put a story to it. You know, because it's like we do that with Thor and Loki, and
That's
like
true, yeah.
Thor was a real god. He was a real thing that people feared. He was a thing that, like, you know, hell, demon, devil, like how I
Yeah,
grew up
right.
Catholic. That stuff, like, it gets me. I was making thumbnails the other day, and I cover a lot of stuff on here. I have about 250 made, but hear me out. I made one. I was looking at Luciferian activities, satanic, and as soon as I saw that, because of how I grew up, I got the heebie-jeebies. I
Yeah,
created the
little,
imagery, and as soon as I
yeah.
saw the word satanic, I'm like, ugh. But I have like different cultures who have the same thing, and it doesn't affect me at all. So I
Yeah,
guess what I'm
it's
trying
true.
to, like,
Yeah.
the fear comes from knowing, right? Or being
I think, yeah.
painting a picture.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of what I think the stories of Adam and Eve, the Tower of Babel, to go back to some of the and other stories from other cultures like Zoroastrian stories and Islamic stories and so on, Confucian stories, is that they're kind of telling us that the more you know, just know that okay, you want to learn this, but with that knowledge comes some, let's say, baggage or burden.
Yeah.
It's not just, oh, I
Yeah.
know things and everything's just going to magically be better. Some things will be better, but we also have to take on the responsibility of the things that might get worse initially. And I think that's kind of the in my mind, the point of the story, whether these things actually happen or not. It's like,
So
it's really cool. I think it's
the last thing
fascinating.
I'll leave it on something I learned the other day. Okay. So
Sure. Mhm.
people are learning how to do things with gravity, anti-gravitic technology. If you mess with gravity and you can change gravity, you are changing time, because
Mhm.
when something goes, the movement of it, the speed of it, it can change. It can make a baby who's 1 day old to a certain age, right? I
Oh,
think
right.
that it is a little possible that we do have what the UFOs are around us. Those are advanced technologies, and they've learned how to time travel by using
Mm.
anti-gravitic technology. The technology, just by working the way it does, bends space and time, and perhaps
Oh, yeah.
they can go through all of the timeline, or a big majority of what the Earth's history is, and they could stop in certain
Yeah.
locations, check stuff out, and it's as normal to them as a trucker passing through Pittsburgh at night. Is that real? Because it
Right.
just might be.
Right.
It just might be.
Well, there are certainly physicists. I'm not a physicist, obviously, but there are physicists studying, like, can you bend space time and create
Quantum
wormholes?
mechanics.
And
Yes.
yeah, and it's hard to wrap our minds around because we're 3D creatures,
Yes.
and we're thinking about things like 4D and maybe the fourth dimension, fifth dimension kind of
Fifth,
stuff. But
sixth,
it
none.
is just fascinating to try to wrap my mind around. I find that absolutely amazing.
Well,
Like 4D, you can see
this right
all of
here,
time at once. It's like that's really cool.
this 6G, right? What that
Mhm.
is that's all frequencies. It's all particles. It's all
Basically, yeah.
energy that is being bounced around in the spectrum of light and many other spectrums. But it's doing something with that magic energy in the air, right? Like the mana, the whatever you want to call it. That's what is doing it. That's what's causing our lights to work. There's some sort of thing that's happening on a subparticle level that is so extraordinary. And they're just taking like that light bulb, and it's just 6G is like,
You're right.
it's like that, but just, you know what I mean? Like
It's really sick, yeah, like, I mean, these little miracles, and 6G being up, I'd say kind of a big one built
Yeah.
on it. I flick a switch in my house, something turns on, a bunch of electrons fire off, or however that works, a light turns on. I can read in the dark. It's nighttime, I can still read because I just have to flick a switch and a light turns on. Now we're transmitting massive amounts of data and then some in 4 years from now, like just over the air, basically, like Wi-Fi networks. It's just amazing. Yeah, so like there's almost no latency between me and you talking, and I'm on a Wi-Fi network now.
Yeah, me
That was
too.
unthinkable, like, maybe 25 years ago.
Yeah.
At the resolution we're at now. So yeah, this is really something. Yeah,
I
I'm really excited to see what happens, because
I'll
it's just
just
gonna be.
leave it at this. This is kind of my take on it. I don't know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about, but I do think that the mind consciousness, the observer, is a big part of what is going on like the sub particles of why a light bulb works. I think that has a lot to do with us and the animals and the current and the way the water moves, like the whole thing, the whole. There is some sort of mana that is here, and it's obvious, and it just seems to me like mathematics, the soul, consciousness, love, hate, emotion. It's all kind of flowing all in there with each other. It seems like
Yeah,
electricity, the innovations off of electricity, gravity. You keep going. There's so many other things.
yeah.
Like the
I
way
will say, and
Go ahead.
I agree in the sense that like in the sense that at least the one thing that I think that's bedrock real, that I sort of pin a lot of my thoughts to is the idea of consciousness and its contents. There's a conscious experience going on. There's something it's like to be you. There's something it's like to be me,
Yeah.
or maybe like the bird outside. It's just whatever that is. That's what gives this existence the meaning we ascribe to it. So like I think that's it gives us a chance. So I'm just glad I get to experience all this and go along for the ride, at least in this form.
Well,
We'll
yeah,
see
and
what
it
happens.
is so true when I could sit here and give myself anxiety about something like this, but if I choose to
true.
close my eyes and breathe through it and allow myself to just kind of clear, I can come back to the advanced sort of thinking and mindset. So for me personally, I understand. I think it's important for humanity going forward that they also learn how to do like transcendental meditation. If that is a part of a society that has these things, that is the way you are better at these things and not be some violent warlords who are killing each other over resources.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah. Let's try as we can. I mean, we are beings of nature, but if we can move beyond all that unnecessary suffering, I think it would be very helpful for us and for everyone else.
Maybe I would think if there is peace on earth, then a couple things have to stop. That would be hunger, thirst. I guess sleep could stick around. We like sleep, but hunger and thirst
We like sleep.
would probably have to stop.
Yes. Yeah.
Because that gets people crazy.
Yeah. Oh, it does. You're right. There's like survival. It leads to excessive hunger and thirst, our miserable states. Yeah. If we can eliminate that, I think that will certainly help exponentially.
Maybe if it is true,
Let's
like
hope.
the levels, the Yggdrasil, and we were in some sort of purgatory or hell, like Earth, like are living right now. You and I are in purgatory, or maybe we're in a form of hell where the added extra problem is that we forget who we are. Then we starve. We can starve. We can feel pain, and we get thirsty. Like these are punishments. These are not. Imagine this. Imagine if we were built and we evolved in a certain way where you and I didn't have to eat. We were like the plants were. We got it from the sun.
Yeah, right. I feel like I'd be so much more productive. How much time, I'm sure someone did the math on this. How much time do I waste eating?
Yeah.
So to speak, right?
But
What's the opportunity cost of having to eat food when I could be doing something
also
else?
the need to have to work to earn the money to buy yourself the food or to not have to kill in order to keep it going, right? If we remove that from us, that would be a much more peaceful way for all of us to live with each other.
You're right.
And we would probably leave some of the animals alone and the fish and all because we don't want to eat them,
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, I like
that
it.
was fun. Thank you for going there with me.
That was.
I like
That
that
was.
you
Keep
allow
going.
me to put these weird little,
Yeah. It's
extra-
fun. It's fun.
It's fun.
I
It's
like
fun.
this stuff.
It's fun.
Yeah.
All right. With that, I guess we'll